And I Quote is bringing you expert-to-expert advice and insights. Our thought-provoking conversations with insurance industry professionals will inspire and educate our listeners on the latest trends and hot topics.
Let's move our industry forward together. The And I Quote podcast is brought to you by Coterie Insurance. Coterie is simplifying the way agents work with small business.
Now let's get started.
Right. Welcome to another episode of And I Quote. I have Chris Ellis with me today. Welcome, Chris. So excited to have you on our episode.
Yes, I'm excited and delighted to be here, and it's good to see you again.
So, Chris, talk to us a little bit about your role at Berkeley and what you're doing there that's fun and you're excited about.
Yeah, so there is something that's actually very fun. So Chris Ellis, let's see. So I've been in the business probably 30 years. Most of it has been in the reinsurance space, and frankly, most of it in the turnkey space. So I joined Berkeley about 10 years ago, and just recently was named head of our turnkey solutions group. And so what I do there is lead a group of awesome people, and we do turnkey solutions in the reinsurance space. So we white label those. So our customers are usually carriers, insurtechs, MGAs, program administrators. And simply what we do is we bring a host of products to our partners that are white labeled on their paper. And then we just do the full implementation suite. So we are a full service provider. We do everything from the forms, the rates, the rules, and that. So excited to do that. And what I'm super excited about, your question about what's fun or what have you, is we kind of call it the power of Berkeley over here. So right now, we've got about 6 different turnkey products, some of which we're going to be working on with Coterie. And for those that don't know, Berkeley's a big company. There's 55 or 60 companies within Berkeley. Most of those are specialty companies, Bobbie. Like they do just one thing or they do one class of business. And it was like a light bulb went off maybe a year ago. And we said, wait a minute. Got all these awesome people, tons of them are friends of mine. And so we collaborate and we talk about how we're going to grow this organization, what we're going to do. And then they start saying, well, what exactly is it that you guys do? So, well, hey, we do commercial cyber, we do EPL, we do workplace violence in commercial, and then we do some others. And we're like, what if we took some of their products and white labeled them and brought those out to partners? And so we're doing that now. And it's a ton of fun because it's bringing experts to the table. They're excited. And it's not like we're just creating a new product out of the blue. It's coming from people who really know it. So that is a ton of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. Chris and his team are working with the Coterie team to bring more products to our agents. So we've contracted for EPLI, cyber, workplace violence, and equipment breakdown. I'm not going to give you a firm timeline on when all of those will be released into market, but we're super excited to start working on that. Obviously, I think everything should be in market before the end of this year. Hopefully, we'll get some things out sooner. But we got to go through all the rates filing forms, right? And then obviously get our technology ready. But super excited to be able to go up market with our product suite to add a little bit more value to the coverages that we're offering to our agents and our policyholders. So thanks for your help there.
And hopefully working with the marketing team, Bobbie, and all the other pros over there is it'll be good to really spend time with the agents and educating on what's that product do and what are the features of that. And that's actually one of the funnest parts of I think our role once we get a partnership up and running. Some of the yucky stuff of the filings and other things, but it's okay. Now here we go. Now how do we help those agents really use them as competitive advantage? So that'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I remember, rewind 15 years ago, maybe 17 years ago, rookie underwriter at the desk myself, and EPLI being like the big thing, right? And obviously that's a big coverage that's needed still today, but like cyber and workplace violence were kind of like, little glimpses of dreams that were way out, way in the future. And never did I ever think we would need a true workplace violence product in our industry, but here we are today. And I'm as sad as it is to have to offer it, I'm also really happy that our industry is coming together and being able to help cover some of those very unfortunate events that we see happening every day.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like, so cyber, right? The reinsurance world in the cyberspace wasn't really that big of a deal. Yeah, 10 years ago. Um, and now it's our largest reinsured product. Very few carriers programs out there don't have something that's dealing with cyber. And you couldn't be more right. Workplace violence. We started working on that probably 3 or 4 years ago, believe it or not. And I can't tell you how many times we said, I can't even believe we're having to talk about this, right? And I think for your customers, your agents, and then the insureds, they're going to be really um, impressed with what's in there, because one of the things that's important to know is we didn't just create that product kind of out of our head. We had in the workplace violence for commercial that your customers are going to see, had 8 different carriers across the country help us build it. Sat down with us and we said, look, this is not good for society, and there's all these gaps in a BOP and a GL and a comp, and all the listeners know what some of those are, but part of the training is going to help remind some producers and what have you where gaps really are. So that's what that thing does, is it really comes in and it plugs a lot of the gaps. But what I like to say about it, the biggest thing about just that workplace violence product is it's like putting an arm around the insured when something really bad happens, because the crisis management component
Yeah.
is, to me, is the key. Because claims operations are great. We all know that, right? There's a lot of great experts, but not a lot of them are workplace violence crisis management trained experts, and that's what this product brings as a core component to it. Um, and then as this product launches, you guys will see things about how we approach the guests. So you've got a business, right? Well, there's guests in many businesses, and there's mental health counseling that comes to them. That's a huge gap that would be out there. So it really is unfortunate, and we're seeing right now, and a big tip of the cap to Coterie, because um, we maybe have 13 or 14 carriers lined up with this. So when you guys get to market, you still will be able to tell your agents we are a relative first mover in that, and
Yeah.
that's an awesome kind of commitment from you guys to your customers. So that's awesome.
It is awesome. And one of the reasons why I'm in the insurtech space today, because we are able to move so quickly. You and I started talking about this potential, maybe in February-ish, I feel like,
Yeah, yeah,
February, March,
yeah,
and we got a deal signed and we'll have products to market, hopefully within 6 months of when we started talking about it. So
yeah.
that's not always the case in some of the legacy worlds that are out there. Maybe even similar to Berkeley. I don't know how fast things move for you guys, but probably not quite as fast as they do at Coterie.
No, no, it is awesome. Like the speed and the commitment and it's just, yeah, you're right. It's and not taking nothing away from all of our great friends that work at some of these, typical legacy carriers. And, so often we hear we've got this huge list of priorities and we're just going to start cranking through them. We have to crank through them. And some will tell us kind of off to the side, we're not doing anything with product, right? We're not
Yeah.
enhancing anything. It's just all this little stuff that we're working on that they just find it tough to kind of move other things higher in priority items that really matter to insureds. So it's kind of a bummer. So
Yeah.
another, congrats to you guys.
Well, thank you. Chris, I'm going to pick your brain on reinsurance. It's been a
Yeah.
wicked couple of years in the reinsurance market. What do you think's in store for us as we look to the latter half of this year and renewals are coming up in the reinsurance space?
Yeah, I think so. I'll kind of answer it in two different kind of towers. So the first tower would be the turnkey space, things that we're talking about today. So those kind of operate, I wouldn't say independently from what we've all seen with, property cat renewals and even the casualty world. And, you got the comp world who acts even a little bit different. But in that turnkey space for a second, things are pretty stable. We've seen some cyber programs getting some bumps up and some pricing, terms and conditions tightening. But by and large, it's just kind of a little bit of a different marketplace. So things pretty stable there. A lot of the folks in the turnkey space are doing pretty well. because it's a little different, right? It's kind of lower limits,
Yep.
robust coverages, but it's now in the rest of the space. Um, the only way I can probably really respond to that is based on what a lot of us are reading. And I think a lot of programs have gone through what would be their second or third full on hard look renewal.
Yep.
And I think by and large, this is not by line, because some lines are still problematic, some lines still have issues. But by and large, I think there's just some nice normalization coming a bit.
Yeah.
That's not to say that there still won't be rate or terms and conditions. No crystal ball there, but I think from what we're hearing and seeing, there's some normalization.
And thank God. It's been kind of a turbulent ride. So even if it's some normalization, I think that will just be a little bit of a pause and a deep breath and a moment
Yeah.
of somewhat calmness for our industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, the thing about it is what I've seen, how we operate, and I know how some of our friends in the marketplace operate as well, is, the economics and the math and cost of capital and other things. I think it's when you've just got good partners, people see it. It was just interesting how it kind of, in some cases maybe woke some people up. But I think it's what I have really seen, which for me is the best, both in both of those towers I described, is a real strengthening of the partnerships between carriers and their reinsurers, because everybody needs each other.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what about turnkey? Like, what's the future look like? What's your dream for it in the next 3 years?
I love that question. So I talk to my team about that all the time, and we're actually scoping some of that out a little bit now. Like, what's our vision? Who do we want to be? Because we specific to Berkeley, Re Turnkey, we kind of said, hey, we're going to get into the liquor space. We had some customers, some traditional reinsurance customers do that. And then we did cyber. And the next thing you know, Bobbie, here we are, well over 50 different insurance carrier partners that we have, over 100 different contracts in place. And that's the double down. Like, wait a minute, this is really important. This is working. We've got an unbelievable, because everything's about the quality of people. We've got the best people that I've ever worked with. So what comes next is, our vision is we want to be the go-to in the market for for the reinsurance brokers, for our carriers, insurtechs. And we walk in, and so we've got this quiver, and we keep adding those the power of Berkeley, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if today I walk in and I've got 6, my vision would be a year from now, Bobbie, I'm walking in and I'm saying I've got 3 more now. So
Yeah.
now I'm up to almost 10 turnkeys. And then work with our carriers to go, so what's missing, or what's out there, and it's not really that great. It's not hitting the mark, right? Limits are too big, therefore pricing's too big. So our goal, and we're trying to define it a little bit better, so it's a little bit easier to spot when we did it, when we achieve it. But we want to be the clear de facto leader in the turnkey space, and that'll be fun. So as time goes on, we'll be able to articulate kind of what that means a little bit more. But that's the big vision.
Isn't it fun to build stuff?
I love it. I do. And the biggest thing is it's the kind of getting everybody in the boat with the same mindset, the same attitude. Because I like to tell some folks, I wish we were doing brain surgery or something, but this is really important to society, what we do. And if we can have fun while we're doing it, and we can build something that's awesome, and then our customers are like, man, we love working with you guys. Those products are great. It's actually fun. I really do enjoy it. And I can't even imagine what it's like on your guys' side, to having all come from maybe different carrier backgrounds and waking up and going, I bet we're going to make a lot of progress today.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Yeah. It's fun to have consecutive record-breaking months, right? When you're growing from, what we were when I started 2 years ago to where we are today. And I just put together some slides for our board meeting for next week. And looking at the progress that we've made just in distribution, the sophistication of our distribution partners has grown significantly in the last 2 years. And that's just like that speed of transformation and growth, you just don't see in a traditional carrier because they don't have to get that much growth, right?
Right.
Yeah. They're meeting all the criteria for AM Best and maybe the Ward's top 50. Most of their executives, maybe with the exception of the last couple of years in combined ratios, most of them are getting pretty decent bonuses because they're meeting all their financial marks. And those should come back around the horn again. To your earlier point, I think that things are starting to normalize, and
Right.
the rate is fixed, what we needed to fix in most places. So
Yep.
it's exciting. It's fun to build stuff. It's fun to build stuff when you get to build it fast,
Yeah.
and in a way that is different and innovative in the marketplace.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. What when you look at your reinsurers, because you guys are very actively involved in creating the entire program and what have you, what is it that's super important to you guys as you decide who you're going to partner with? And it may be different in the turnkey, that first tower versus traditional, but what are things super important to you guys?
So, Chris, obviously, economics are a big piece, right? When we look at just the economics around an MGA versus a traditional carrier, it's a little bit different on how we make revenue. But once we look at economics and all things are equal, it really comes down to, and you know this as well as I do, just the people, right? We want to do business with partners that will be strategic with us, that are intelligent, help us grow, and they're fun to work with. Because insurance is just such a relationship business, that really plays a big part into how we pick our partners, who we want to do business with. It really comes down to aligning with the values of the org, right? So our core values, if they're in alignment with our partners, then we're in a really good spot.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's a cool story, and I don't know if I've told you this before, and I won't say the name of the agency, but I know some agents through carrier partners that we've done deals with, and just through my years, I've gotten to know some agents. And I was talking to an agent one time. This has been with probably about a year ago, and your guy's name came up. This was like the head of the number 2 guy at an agency, and this is God's honest true story. And he says to me, he kind of stops and he looks at me. He goes, Coterie. He goes, I was talking to my CSRs and I started looking at our numbers, and I'm like, Coterie is like our fastest growing partner. And he didn't kind of see it. He didn't really know that was happening. So he went out and he talked to the CSRs and he goes, the answer was just simple. He goes, it's just easy to work with and we like their people.
Yeah.
So, and I said, well, what do you do about that? I said, you've got all your other contracts. And he goes, I'm going to let it keep happening. So that was a cool story.
Well, it is a cool story. And what the fun thing too, Chris, about our product, not to toot our own horn too much here, but typically as soon as we get our product in the hands of a CSR or producer, it sells itself because it's just so easy to work with.
Yep.
And our people are really awesome too. But the experience around how quick and easy it is to go from a quote to a bind on the small stuff, no one else is doing it as fast as we are that I know of in the market today. And that's the only way agents can make a buck off of the small stuff too, is if it's fast and easy, because the economics need to make sense for them as well. So yeah. But it's been really fun watching our team be able to, move up market with more sophisticated commercial lines, brokers, networks, wholesalers over time, just gaining that credibility of our brand and our product in the marketplace and trust over time. I mean, we're talking to some big potatoes now. Like it's, and those are really good strategic partnerships for us to have, just to kind of grow with the folks that are acquiring agencies or are growing their network.
So let me ask you this. So other than continuing the current mission, continue to grow out the agents and what have you, what's the next big target for Coterie? What are you guys planning to do? Is it to write larger business, maybe look at E&S? What's the big one?
Yeah. So the biggest piece, like we've done a really good job with our distribution, Chris, right? So I think we'll continue to iterate on that, but our distribution is pretty solid at this point. So what's really going to help us to grow and scale is more product, right? Which is why we're talking today. Putting more product in the hands of our agents and our insureds, giving them more coverages to drive, average premium per customer up. And we are doing discovery on non-admitted and E&S right now. So with the type of experience that we have today, we have 3 writing carriers now. We should have 4 or 5 admitted by the end of the year. Because of that, we'll be able to produce a very similar experience for E&S with having multiple declinations in app, right? So we can decline with our carriers and then move right on into a non-admitted quote to bind experience. So that's in the future. Obviously, like the turnkey stuff is big. We're also doing some discovery on enhancing our professional lines product. So being able to offer a little bit more robust product there in all 50 states. So there's a lot of fun things that are happening there. And then just, deepening the relationships we have. We spend a lot of time hunting for new, and just, we have a lot of opportunity, I think, to nurture and get, closer to the partners that we already have onboarded.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully along the way, and that'll be something that we can, partner with you together, talk to the agents, with whatever process you have now, and maybe augment that or add to it, but ask them what else is maybe missing. And then say, okay, well, is that a turnkey that we can help you with?
Well, I will tell you, all of them ask for commercial auto. So if you can figure out how to do a turnkey for commercial auto, Chris, that would be fantastic. Well, Chris, it's been fantastic to have you on today. So there's one question I always wrap up with. And so if you were an MLB player and you were walking up to bat, what would your walk-up song be?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. What's funny, because this may last forever, but I'm kind of, this is a little funny to hear. So I love Rascal Flatts, if anybody remembers Rascal Flatts. So it'd be any of the Rascal Flatts song, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's the one in Cars, as corny as that sounds. I got some grandbabies. But I also a big Justin Timberlake and NSYNC fan, believe it or not. Is that crazy? Yeah. So it could be, Bye 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 is probably what comes to mind a little bit. Because then it'd be hitting a home run and say Bye Bye Bye.
And the other song you reference is Life is a Highway, right?
Life is a Highway. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Which one? What would be yours?
I have to use the non-explicit version of the title, but it's because it's such a small clip, in the beginning of the song. It would be, it's a Juvenile song, so it's Back That Thing Up. Yeah. Do you know how that song starts? Yeah.
I don't, but I'm going to go listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question. I love it. Yeah. It's been awesome to see you again. It's been awesome to be part of this. I hope that we send this out to some of our reinsurance broker friends, and they'll look at this and they'll be like, okay, so, walk into some meetings, or we're getting ready to do like a webinar or something, and somebody plays some of my songs. So there are a couple of my buddies that would absolutely probably do that. So it'll be funny. I'll let you know if it happens. I'll let you know.
Please do. Well, Chris, It was a pleasure to reconnect. Super excited that we get to do business together. And you heard it here first. Coterie and Berkeley are going to be bringing some turnkey products to market real soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you. And look forward to seeing you soon.
Coterie is continuously innovating to bring our partners and agents the best solution for their small commercial book of business. Check out our producer's resources page by clicking the link in the show notes below.